Alright guys, here we are, October the 22nd. I think it's about 90 degrees here in South Carolina. Should be like 60. I don't know, 50 something, 60, I guess by this time of the year. So who knows what this winter is going to be like. I decided I'd go ahead and, rather than wait until February or so changing the oil, I'll just go ahead and change the oil now. Of course, I got all my Amsoil here. Got 5 quarts out. Probably use about 4 3/4 quarts. And we got the K&N filter as well. I'm gonna be using a K&N 303. It's got a K&N on it right now. And the reason I like the K&N is, of course, the nut on the end makes it really easy to pull it off. Nice 17mm. Should grab it and take it on off. So I got the bike heating up a little bit. Most people say hot engine, you get more oil out or something because it's, you know, thinner and it's heated and it'll flow better. I don't know. A cold engine to me, all the oil's already in the pan and kind of comes out. But I guess I've done it both ways. This time we're going to do it with a little warmed up. What you're going to need is a 17mm, either a socket or just a wrench. Remember, these bikes have got 2 drain plugs. This is really easy to do. Got 2 drain plugs right up under the motor. You don't have to have a lift. I actually had my lift up under the bike, and it was going to cause me more problems than anything else because I wasn't going to be able to get my drain pan under there, and using the wrench was going to be a pain as well. So I just got a board under the front wheel so I can fit a drain pan under, and my kickstand's got a board up under it. Might not be the safest thing in the world, I'm not sure. But if you look up under here, what you're gonna see is back here, where's my hand? We may have to find our eyes. Alright, here's one, I don't know what we see. Right back here there's a bolt, there's another bolt. Where's the other bolt? Behind it? I don't know. It's right around it somewhere. When I get up under there, I'll find it. But there's actually 2 bolts. That's number 1. There's number 2 somewhere. So you'll have 2 bolts that you need to grab. Drain it all out from both of those locations, and then of course your oil filter is going to be right under here, right behind my horn. Right back, right back here where my finger is. There's your oil filter. So that's your filter. So we're about to get started here. Fun times. Alright guys, so this angle might be a little bit better. Let's see what we got here. 1 bolt. And 1 bolt's over here. 2 bolt is right here. Where's my finger? Right there. So 2 bolts. Those are your 2 drain bolts. Alright, so we got the first one rolling. I'm guessing the back one must be the one with most of the oil. The front one must be the one. The front one towards front wheel must be the one with the reserve kind of capacity, the lower amount. So we're going to let that drain, and then we're going to grab that other bolt, and then we'll get the filter. Alright, so we got the second one, and by the time I hit the record button, the front one was about all gone. So we'll let them drain really, really well, and we'll come back to it. Alright guys, it's about all the way drained. It's got a very, very slow drip. What I like to do whenever I'm draining is I get on the bike and I kind of move it around a little bit just to make sure, you know, I got all the oil. I try to lean it a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, just for whatever might be hiding in there. So I'm going to do that now, and then we're going to pull this filter off. Alright gents, we're underneath now. Just like I said earlier, here's my Your oil filter will be right back here. Mine's right back there. I got this horn. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get in there and get around that horn. Or if not, I got a longer extension I can go grab. But anyway, we're going to pull this off. Can't do it with one hand, so I need two. Be right back. And that's why I like the K&N, because it takes absolutely no time. And then you can just pull it by hand. Well worth the $9, $10 that you're going to pay on Amazon for that filter. So we'll go ahead and get that off. I think I've got about 4 minutes into this thing so far, so this is a really easy job for anybody. Alright, this thing's about to fall off, so I'm going to say goodbye for 1 second. Alright guys, we got the oil filter out. All done. Got our new filter. I just got a screwdriver. I put 1120 16K on the filter just for future reference, because I really don't track oil changes with Amsoil that much. I pretty much once a season is what I do. Figure I'll ride between around 6,000 to 10,000 miles a year. Of course, we're going to take the plastic off. What I like to do is pour just a tiny bit of oil into this filter, just to kind of give it a head start with priming. I had heard one time somebody was changing oil in their motorcycle, probably read it on a forum or something, and they said they would crank the bike up for a couple of seconds with no oil in it. Can't say I've ever done that, and can't say I ever plan to crank a bike or car with no oil. I don't think it's really a good idea, and don't really recommend it. Just there's a reason there's oil in there. I think their philosophy was if they crank it, they get more of the dirty oil out, but at the same time you're kind of causing friction for just a moment, and that's about all it takes for scarring and wear, just the smallest amount to happen. So do not, let me say it again so there's no confusion, I do not recommend anybody to crank the bike when there's no oil in it. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit of oil in here, then we're going to screw it back on. One more thing, this is a good habit to get into, I'm sure most people do it. Take a little bit of the oil, the clean oil, make sure your hands are clean. Just take a little bit and dab it around your seal, just to get it nice and lubricated and ready to make contact. You want it to be ready for that contact. I didn't even put my product in these shots yet. Here, everybody. Amsoil, metric, 1040. You can use that, or you can use Amsoil 2050. Either one, or mix them, like I'm about to do, because this 1040 has been on my shelf for a little while. So I'm going to mix it up. We're going to do about 2 quarts of 1040 and 2.5 quarts of 2050. But 1040 is more than you need. I mean, 2050 just might help it run just a tad bit cooler, possibly. But either one. www.MEtricoil.com. Up in the corner, www.MEtricoil.com. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so we've started putting the filter back on. Now, if you've never changed an oil filter, it should spin like super easy. If when you first start there's a lot of tension and it's tough to go on, stop and start over. It should be way easy to spin around. Then once you get it snug with your hand, most people say about a half a turn after you get it good and snug. I probably over tighten my filters a little bit, but at least I know they're not going to leak. Alright, let me tighten this down, then we're going to put the drain plugs in. Here's a shot of the oil that came out. I'm guessing that's a 5-quart pan. So it's got to be about 4.5 quarts. I might actually measure it. I don't know. We might see. But yeah, kind of dark, a little bit black. We're gonna go ahead and put these drain plugs back in, and that'll be it. A lot of people say you're supposed to replace those copper washers every oil change. Sadly, I don't do that. So hopefully everything turns out okay. I don't do it. All right, guys. So we went ahead and we put the two drains back in. Just remember, a lot of people, sometimes, I think maybe even me sometimes, I see this and I'll see oil around it and I think that's a plug. That is not a plug. That's just oil that's drained to the center and it's just falling down. So your plug's over here and your plug's over here. So I'm gonna wrench them down. Don't ask me what the torque's supposed to be on them because I have no idea. I just tighten them until they feel tight to me. Alright, so we pretty much got everything back together. The only thing to do now is to put the oil in. What I like to do before I do very much with oil, I like to make sure I clean off my dipstick. No need to put dirty oil back in there. So always wipe it clean before I start to add anything. Alright, so guys, I've already started putting the oil in. This is some 2050 we're going to drop in there. This stuff, a lot of people look at the website, and I've heard people, you know, over the years and things like that, they say, well, it's $12, $13 a quart. That's retail. It's 12 something a quart retail. If you become a preferred customer, you're going to be looking at about $8, somewhere around $8.50, somewhere in that range, a quart. So becoming a preferred customer, you could do it for 6 months at a time. It's really, before I became a dealer, that's what I used to do. I used to do 6 months, and then I'd set my wife up for 6 months after mine expired. We'd go back and forth. But because I didn't order oil, but I don't know, maybe once a year or something, because I tried to get as much as I needed or felt I needed for a while, so I wouldn't have to order anymore. So don't let the cost, you know, fool you. Check it out for yourself. But www.MEtricoil.com. I know I just said that because I'm doing clips here. Another thing, quick shot. It's a fuel system cleaner for it's really for small engines. I had a lot of it, so I'm just going to use this. They've got another product called PI, Performance Improver, I believe is what it stands for, but it's PI Fuel Injection Cleaner. Both of them are really good stuff. Like I said, this is more for chainsaws and two cycle and 4 cycle engines, ATVs, but we're going to use this as well, because I use PI pretty regularly, but we don't use that. So I'm down to my last pretty much 2 quarts, and that'll put us at 5 quarts. So I'm actually going to put this one in, and I might stop for a second and check it. See you in a second. Alright guys, we put about 4 and probably 3/4, I'm guessing is probably about what we've used so far. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start the bike, let the filter go ahead and fill up, and see where we're at. So let's go ahead and hit the... Alright, we're in neutral. My little Chinese people. And of course the oil light will stay on for a couple seconds, but it's gone now. So we'll let that run just for a moment. We're at 16,567. 16,567 is how many miles I got now. Alright, so I'm going to pull this dipstick again, and we'll see what it looks like. I hate clean oil though, because I can never see clean oil I have to rely on feeling clean oil. So let me have two hands and see where I'm at. So guys, this is where I'm at. I'm about half on the dipstick. So that's about 4 3/4 quarts. I'll probably go ahead and put the rest of it in there. I know in the past when they had oil sight level glasses, it was supposed to be halfway in that sight glass. Dipsticks, guessing they're a little bit different. And I am leaned a little bit as well. But I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do 5 quarts. Alright guys, that's pretty much a wrap. Really didn't talk about, why I like Amsoil. Amsoil, I've had like 8 bikes in my life. Started when I was 18. Can't think of a year really when I didn't have a motorcycle. Typically I get a motorcycle, I do a lot to it, I get bored of it, I get another one and I'll start all over. But Amsoil, it's one of those things where it stays cleaner longer, it seems. It keeps its viscosity a lot longer than any other oil. The clutch on these bikes, whenever I used Rotella, Shell Rotella, and sadly I used to use automotive oil once upon a time in some of my older bikes. But with like Rotella, once you got up to, I don't know, about 1,500 miles on the oil, once that 1,500 miles halfway through the oil's life came around, it was like that clutch just didn't feel the same. And the transmission was clunky, and it was just a harsh feel. Amsoil, it's smooth the whole time it's in. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I'm serious. Your transmission's not going to clunk nearly as badly, and the clutch is going to feel really crisp. Just the whole time. There's not going to be any breakdown of oil, so it's going to really keep that good fresh oil feel for pretty much the whole life of it. That's the other thing, the oil life. Amsoil pretty much says double your manufacturer's recommendation. So for Kawasaki's, I'm guessing they're recommending every either 3,000 or 5,000. I'm kind of guessing 5. You have to look in the manual because I'm really not sure. I've never even looked at it. But let's say for a second they say your recommended oil change from Kawasaki's 5,000 miles. You're good for 10,000 miles with Amsoil. So like I said, for most of us, that's a riding season. Heck, for some, it might be 2. Of course, I recommend that you change it every year either way. But your car also, they've got some automotive oil that is good for 25,000 miles. So go to the site, check it out. I'm going to see how much oil we actually pulled out, or I'm going to try. So if I don't see you again, y'all be safe out there. Y'all have a good day. Alright guys, I had a second, so just going to add this to the end of the video. This is Amsoil Power Foam. This is actually made for your intake, carb, and induction system cleaner is what it is. It's a little bit different than Seafoam. I know a lot of you have used Seafoam. Let's see if I can hold this camera for a second. Not what it's recommended to do. Not supposed to really use it on this kind of stuff because it could do damage, but hey, I'm a gamer. So they weren't that dirty this time, but a lot of times I'll use it on my exhaust tips, and you can see it comes out like shaving cream. I mean, it's a foam, so he'll start to eat away at all the dirt and grime, and that's pretty much how it works. You can kind of see up in there just the dirt and stuff that it's pulling apart, pulling out. But if you're interested in the Power Foam, it'll clean your intake. I've probably got a video on here in my video somewhere of me using it on this bike, and I used it on a lawnmower. So if you see in my videos something like that, that's what it is. But you can see it got pretty dirty. So I'll just take this and we'll go ahead and wipe this down since that's what you get. It's a great cleaner. It'll clean a lot of different things. But it's got an odor to it. It's a very automotive smell, so don't clean your dishes with it. Alright, anyway, that's it this time.